welcome back to Giving Them Something to Talk About podcast. I'm your host, T. Jane, and today we have an incredible guest. I'm so excited y'all joining us. He's an actor, entrepreneur, and minister who wears many hats, and he just might be following in his father's footsteps in ministry. We will see. We'll get on that.
We'll see.
You may have seen him in plays, commercials, and even on the hit drama Empire. I'm excited to dive into this journey, his faith, and his passion for storytelling. Please welcome Marcus Woods to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so good, Marcus. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited. So I want to just start at the beginning.
Okay.
So I know you were a young boy when I knew you, little boy. One minute I think you were directing the choir.
Yep, I was directing the choir at one point. Yeah.
Next thing I know, you acted.
Yeah.
Where did all of this get started?
You know, I always talk about me and my brothers. We always played with our toys differently. Like we had a beginning, middle, and end, like with our toys. Mm-hmm. So when we would play with other little kids, they just be kind of just banging the toys together. We were like, "Where the storyline at?" You know what I'm saying? Like this, really? We would really have a beginning, a middle, and end. Wow. And so that's kind of where it started. Mm-hmm. Elementary, I want to say like the third or fourth grade, they had this assembly. And I'm telling my age by saying this, but they had this assembly, but they it was like a talent show. They was really trying to bypass time, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But so they said, get up and do whatever talent you want to do. And I got up and I remember doing a baseball scene where I played the umpire, the pitcher, and the batter, and I struck myself out, you know. And I had this whole thing, and I remember all the little kids clapping like that was funny and laughing. And I was like, I was like, I think I found something. So I think I might have created something here real quick. So that's really where it started as a child, playing with our toys and that specific scene that I did with the kids.
My God, I didn't know.
So I had it way back then. I just didn't know quite what it was. I didn't know it was storytelling. I didn't know it was acting at that time. That's where it came from.
So are you the only one of your brothers that caught it?
Well, in the beginning, yes. But now my younger brother, he's in a movie with me coming up real soon called Depart From It. Mm-hmm. And he plays the younger version of me in the movie. So it does flashbacks to when my character was younger, and he plays the younger version of me. So now I think he's been in at least 3 movies. Mm-hmm. He filmed 3 movies last year since the movie he did with me. So he got it. Yeah. He went from basketball to modeling to acting.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah.
I mean, that's a good transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. When is it going to be out?
Well, it's coming out this summer. We already had our premiere for it and everything. And it looks really good. It's a really good movie. It's based off the scripture, Depart From It. Mm-hmm. But it tells the story. It tells the story of a young lady and a young man who started off together as children, but something traumatic happens that made them go separate ways in life. Mm-hmm. And now the story is like full circle. What happens when they meet back up again? So it's a really beautiful story. It will come out probably, I want to say, end of spring, beginning of summer. Mm-hmm. But it's on its way.
So is it going to be in theaters?
Well, it's going to probably go straight to streaming. Mm-hmm. Amazon and Tubi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited about that. I did not know this.
Yes.
So now you performed in plays, commercials, and television. Mm-hmm. So how do you approach theater versus
I love
television?
This question so much because I heard Denzel Washington say this in an interview, and I was like, this is so true. Technically, there's a difference. Mm-hmm. There's, and I'm not going to be jumping and yelling on screen per se like I would in stage because I'm trying to project emotion to reach the person way in the back. Okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For stage. For film, it's kind of up on you a little bit. So technically, there's a difference. But the only thing I do is tell the truth. That's my only responsibility. So be it on film or being on stage, I'm just supposed to tell the truth. Okay. So there's really no real difference outside of there's some technical things that are different. Mm-hmm. But as a storyteller, just be honest and tell the truth. Make them believe what's going on stage or on film.
Wow. I never knew that. Because I wanted to be an actress. Let me just say that.
It's never too late. I want to say that.
So I was redirected, but I'm glad to see that people are moving forward in that, even in your faith.
Yes.
So what so far has been the most memorable role for you?
There's a movie called Melanin, where I played Attorney Adams. I played an attorney. It's kind of a spinoff of Watermelon Man. Okay. So this guy, my client is a white guy, but he turns black. He takes a pill and it turns him black for like 2 weeks. And he goes through things that black people go through, gets in trouble with the police, can't understand why he's in trouble, but it's like he doesn't understand because of the color of his skin. Mm-hmm. And he needs somebody to represent him to prove that he's innocent. He turns back white mid-trial. Wow. So I have to represent him as a black man, then mid-trial when he turns back white. And I play Attorney Adams. You can watch Melanin on the CW.
Thank you.
You gotta do is download the CW app, or you can go on Tubi, and it's on Tubi as well.
Wow, I can't believe I haven't seen that. That sounds...
It's a good movie. It's a really, really
sounds
good movie.
Like
it. Yeah. And I had to learn a lot of big attorney words, It just looks smart, right?
So that's just gonna segue into how do you prepare?
I first of all study. Mm-hmm. The first thing I do is learn my lines, and then I analyze what does this character want. Mm-hmm. So does a character if the character wants to win, what is it that they want to win? Even if they lose, they still want to win something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So right. I analyze the story from beginning to end, and sometimes, but most times, from scene to scene. Okay. You know what I mean? And then I break it down. Then I find something relatable. How does me and this character relate? What's the silver lining? Like, what connects us? You know what I mean? And then I just dive into it from there. And I do a lot of background stuff that you probably never see on scene. Mm-hmm. Where this character grew up. Did they have both parents?
Just yourself doing it?
Yeah, just me. Oh, yeah, by myself. And then, obviously you have rehearsals and things like that. You rehearse more for plays than you do for film. Mm-hmm. Probably about a 2-week rehearsal on film. And I say 2 weeks, that's probably 2 days that week, 2 days the next week, and then you on to it. But for theater, you about a month, 3 months out before you, right. But yeah, that's my process. Yeah, it's my process.
Very, very interesting. This is so interesting. Now, let me ask you this. Are you currently doing a lot of out of Michigan, been traveling?
Last year, I did a lot of stuff here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. But it was out of state stuff. Mm-hmm. So LA came here and we filmed a movie here. Okay. A movie called Broken Bonds, which is on a go-to from what they telling me is going to BET Plus. Mm-hmm. And then another movie called Divorce Lawyer, which is also going to BET Plus. They were from LA. Okay. They came here. They found me. They reached out to my manager and my agent and found me. Mm-hmm. So that I've done that. For commercials, I normally go out of state and do a lot of commercials. Okay. That's what it's been for the last 2 years lately. Mm-hmm. A lot of commercials, I just go Baltimore, wherever, and film commercials and come back. But most of my stuff thus far, last year I did a lot of stuff here. Everything was here, but it was usually somebody flying in and filming us, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Filming the actors and stuff here.
So what's the climate in Michigan for entertainment, this kind of entertainment?
Well, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's a good, I always tell people it's a good time to become an actor. This is the best time to be an actor here because Michigan, mainly Detroit, has made a name for itself in the independent film arena. So it's really good, but you got to get with the right people now. Okay. Because everybody.
What you mean by that?
Everybody's a filmmaker now. Mm-hmm. Everybody's an actor now. Mm-hmm. I went to school. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Some people just say, hey, I got a certain amount of followers on Instagram. Now I'm an actor. I'm famous now. So put me in your movie. And they do that sometimes. Sometimes they see your followers and they'll pick you because you have a lot of followers. That means you're going to bring a lot of people to this film. You know what I mean? So to view it and everything like that. But yeah, everybody is on. But it's still a good time to do it. Just getting with the right people and getting with the right group of people.
So do you have I'm going totally off.
It's okay. I'm cool. We here now. We are here now.
So do you have a time frame of what's your goals?
To take it as far as God will allow. Mm-hmm. If in my goals, I want to stand up there and hold an Oscar a couple of times. You know what I mean? I want to 4-time nominated, 4-time Oscar winner. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. Unless God says something different, which He hasn't yet. So that's my goal. If I'm gonna do it, I want to go all the way to whatever the pinnacle of it is.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any mentors that you?
I do. This young lady named Shantae Delon, she's from here, and she was acting here, then moved to LA. When she moved to LA, she got on a TV show called Detroiters, filmed in Detroit by Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. And so she had to move back to film that series and be on that series, which is currently on Netflix right now. And she's really my sister, my friend. But I told her, I was like, you're also a mentor to me. You know what I mean? And even if she don't know that, I'm the type of person, I'll talk just to get you talking, then I'll shut up because I'm sponging. You get what I'm saying? So I'm grabbing in. So she's been she's a friend for sure. We've been knowing each other. We analyzed it for about 20 years now, but we probably got real cool like the last for 5 years, and she's been like a mentor to me. Matter of fact, she has an acting class. This starts today, called How to Become, and it's just, I'm sorry, it's too late to register, but she does it all the time, and I'm going to be in her class tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday.
Now, does she does this always?
Yeah, she does it always. This will be her 7th class, so she does them frequently. You know,
we can get the information.
Absolutely,
that for
absolutely.
Or you're interested. This is so. Oh my goodness, a wealth of knowledge, because there's people that really want to act out here.
Yeah,
and they don't
know where to go.
Yeah.
And I also do monologue Mondays.
I was going to get on that.
Okay.
But let me redirect.
Okay.
I want to talk about monologue Mondays. Now, is that a business venture you're into now? It's
turning into it. It was just something I give back freely. That's my way of just saying, here y'all go. You know what I mean? We're Christians, we're saved, and I believe in giving back. You know what I mean? And it's like giving my 10%, like giving my tithe. It's just something I do. I don't want people to bump their heads the way I bump my head. So,
tell me about that.
Bumping my head.
Yes, bumping your head.
I had to spend so much money on fake acting classes that turned out to be scams, and I'm talking about thousands of dollars. Cause you serious. And God bless my parents; they've been so supportive down through the years. I love y'all, Bishop and Pastor Woods. I love y'all. I bumped my head plenty of times. Spent a lot of money. Went on things that I thought were real. You know what I mean? It come out, nothing really came of it. And
you mean like online or something?
Because when I started, we were still in the phase of going in person to audition. They still do it, but not as much. Now you can audition. We call them self-tapes. You can audition from your house if you got the right equipment, or you can go to somebody's studio who all they do is specialize in audition tape. And you go there and you do your self-tape with them and stuff like that. So they still do in person. It's just a self-tape. Now I can be in Orlando, and then I can audition for something in Australia. If they like me, they book me, I'm off to Australia. You know what I mean? So but a lot of in-person stuff that were scams. Going into auditions, you think it's gonna be a real movie, then ain't. You know what I mean? Or you film a whole movie. I got tons of movies that y'all ain't never seen. So I'm talking about we filmed the whole movie and never came out. Yeah, so many things. Early on, no, that's why you gotta love it. You gotta love it because you do not. We're stuck in a weird place now where people want to be famous and they want to get paid, but nobody cares about the art. People who care about the arts, to me, tends to last a little longer in this business. If you just want to get famous, you can get famous doing anything. You start a TikTok dance, you're famous. You know what I mean? Or whatever. If you want to get money, there's quick money that you can get. Then after that money's gone, that's it. You got to go back to work, which is nothing wrong with, because I know actors that work a regular 9 to 5 and still do this full time. You know what I mean? But it's been about a lot of that scammy stuff like that. Fake agents, fake people want to manage you. Some guy wanted me to move to LA, live in a home with a bunch of different actors. And he said, all our careers are going to take off. Come to find out, because I had a friend that did it. That turned out to be a scam. They was all trying to figure out how to pay rent at the house that he put in their name. It's all kind of scammy stuff. Yeah. But one thing I thank God for my mom, she would tell me, she'd say, you just be great and they'll come find you. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, they probably wouldn't have came and found me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I listened to that, because I was ready to go move and go to all these other places. Now I can just fly there, do what I got to do, and come back home.
You got your base here.
Got my base here.
Okay, so tell me about Monologue Mondays.
Monologue Mondays at 6 p.m. every Monday. I give free information. All it is just tips and tricks and things that I've learned down through the years, where I'm just telling people how to make it. You know what I mean? Like how you can do it and actually do this stuff, and it actually works. Like I said, a lot of it's from bumping my head. Stuff that I learned, or if I go to LA and I learn something, I bring it back and I just say it for free. And then people come on and they do monologues. And the beautiful thing about it, and I'll critique it if they want me to. I'll ask, you want me to critique it? They say, yes, I do. They say, no, I'm like, thank you. And move on to the next person. I've seen 3 people get booked in films.
What?
2 with a manager and 1 or 2 with an agent. So it's beneficial.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they'll just watch. Directors will watch it. Casting directors will watch it. And sometimes they'll go back and watch it. So I leave it posted. Instagram is doing a 30-day thing, though, when they take down your lives or whatever after 30 or 60 days. So you got to watch it. But a podcast is on the way for that specific thing. So I can take it another route. But that's still under construction. But just under construction. But yeah, so that's all that is. Just me giving back. Just giving back. And I do it for about 45 minutes to an hour every Monday, 6 o'clock.
I've seen you. Now, what is the difference between, I heard you just now, a manager and an agent?
So a manager literally manages you and your time. You book this is what you're doing. They make sure that it's legit and that's good. Your agent is like the middleman between casting directors and you. Mm-hmm. So casting directors are they're looking for the next, I don't know, person that looks like Superman or Black Panther. They're looking for that person. Mm-hmm. And your agent says, I got a guy. And then so your agent tells your manager, boom, we got casting for
So you got to have both.
You don't have to have both. They can work one and the same, but I always tell people this: don't get a manager or agent if you ain't, because they got to get paid too. Mm-hmm. They get 10. Here they're up in Michigan. They're allowed to get up to 15%. In LA and other places they get 10%. So don't go get no agent or manager thinking, oh man, you didn't got this money. You got to pay the agent, got to pay the manager, you still got to pay your taxes.
And you got to get paid,
and then you got to get paid after all that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm taking that money and I'm putting it back into myself. Headshots, classes, resumes, all that kind of stuff like that. But they work one. It's just like a cousin. One is your brother, the other one is your cousin. But you kind of do need both of them. But sometimes your manager can act as one, or your agent can act as one. But if you have an agent, 9 times out of 10, that agent has 5 other people that kind of look like you. Your manager is specific to you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Even though they may have a bunch of people, but they're specific.
That's good.
That's the one who's calling you and saying, hey, you got this, you got that. Let's change this. Let's do that. The agent is just saying, is he polished? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to present them to the casting directors.
And so is an agent normally with an agency?
Sometimes. And sometimes you can get a personal agent that only deal with like 4 or 5 people. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, yes, agency.
So what do you have?
I'm with the agency, but I've gotten to the place where I can deal with my agent on a more personal. Once they see your consistency, you can deal with them on, like, I can call my agent personally and be like, hey, we just had a discussion. He sent me something I didn't want to do. He was like, just do it. And we just trying to get in front of casting. We'll figure everything else out later. So, I have that relationship with them now. But if you're not right away, you get that. You just in there.
So where did this confidence come from? Because I see it. Like you just said, he said, just do it. Get in front. Are we just trying to get you in front of casting? And you just like, you don't go into no.
I'm always nervous. I'm nervous every time I audition, every time I film, every time I get on stage. But it just comes from, I heard Denzel say this and I heard Sinbad say this. Both of their fathers were preachers. And they said they got their stage presence from watching their fathers. And I think that's the only place I know where I got it from is watching my dad get up, and then times where I've got up and ministered and stuff. So that's kind of where it came from. I kind of cultivated it in that. But 9 times I'm shy for the most part.
Really?
Yeah. If it was a group of people in here, and I only knew you, I'm coming to sit by you, and I still ain't saying much. I'm observing, like, who is these people? Okay. So I sit back. But yeah, I'm not as like that. I'm in the middle. What's the that? That's what I am. That's me in the middle.
That's what I am. I get it. Okay, so in addition to acting in business, you're a minister.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Let
me get my fan.
Are we thinking one day you may take over the church?
It crosses my mind. I got siblings, so they can jump in there. God call them. Growing up a PK, you see a lot of things. You see stuff your parents go through. You see the good and the bad and the ugly and everything in between with members and all this stuff. So it can make you kind of like, I just want to make it to heaven. Y'all can have that. You know what I'm saying? But then there's another part of you where it's like fire shut up in your bones where you can't keep it quiet. You gotta say what's God. So if God called me and said, hey, we going this way now. I'm just asking, can we still do acting? Can we do both? But if he say no, I'm gonna follow God. I'm a absolutely follow God. So that's that. So if he say lead, take over, become this or that, I would do it. But I want to hear from God, not from people. I grew up in church. You know what I mean? So you hear people calling you a little bishop, little pastor, and you be like, nah. So sometimes people can egg. Yeah, they can push you. You know what I'm saying? I don't need people to tell. I need it to come from God. And if it ain't, and I need God to give it to my leader, and I need my leader to confirm. And but I want it the right way if it's going to happen.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so what has been the biggest lesson your father has taught you about leadership and ministry?
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
People change, times change, but God lasts forever. So if I know people change, be it good or bad, they change. You know what I mean? So learn how to don't change who you are, but just adjust and adapt. You know what I'm saying? Adjust and adapt, but to still push the same message. That's in business. That's in ministry. Just adjust and adapt because things will change. That's the only consistent thing in life.
That's right.
It's change. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So knowing that, and knowing how to adjust for whatever changes happen, and still keeping yourself at the foundation of who you are and who God called you.
That's great. Now I want to ask you about, because you're a leader, you stand out. Whether it be with your profession or if it be in ministry, what kind of impact did you hope to leave in the world?
I hope that people can see somebody like me and that the success that I know God has for me in my career, in ministry, that you can still get it and still obtain your purpose. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think once you become saved, that's it. Like you just got to do what God say, which you do, but you got to do what God say, and that's it.
In that realm.
Ministry. Yeah. Yes. But then they'll be like, well, I had this dream. I always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a painter, but they don't pursue that because they say, I got to be saved and I don't want to compromise my salvation for business or for money. Because if I'm going after money and success, the love of money, you know, they'll say money is the root of all evil, which we know is the love of money is the root of all evil. But you know, so they'll miss their purpose. Yes. You know what I mean? And I don't want people. Your purpose, as long as you know who you are in God, and God, you can't attach purpose to an identity that's not you. So if you're not walking in who you're supposed to be, you're trying to find purpose. That ain't who you be. That's not who you are. You can't put a purpose on that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find out who you are. Right. In God and with what he gave you. And then after that, now you go after your purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that people look at me and say, oh, I can be saved and still do this. As long as I don't compromise. And you know what I mean? And then a lot of people they think they have to compromise. They think it's one way or the other. How you going to serve a God who created everything and then be like, he limited to what you want, your dreams and your goals? No. Just get him to get inside of that. You know what I'm saying? Ask God to be in that with you. And if God say, okay, I got you, he got you. You know what I mean? And just trust that. So I hope that I can impact people by saying you can do what you love and be saved. Just don't compromise. That's great. And that's the good segue because I have a question. You know, there's a I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory. I'm not even going to say the word. Okay. But I want to know, do you feel that some people do compromise? Okay. And why? It's the quick way to success. It's a quick way to get accepted. It's instant gratification. You know, they want it now. They got to have it now. I always say, take the long way to keep your integrity. You know what I mean? But some people don't want, they want shortcuts. That's good. You know, they want shortcuts. So if you don't, some people just want to get to where they're going. So they don't care what they have to do. I'll say it like that. They don't care what they have to do, who they got to jump over and step on to get there. They're going to do it. And they don't care what comes with it. As long as they get to go where they're going. And a lot of times they get to go to that next level, but their soul is compromised. And on the natural side, their integrity is compromised as well. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people want a shortcut. Have you been presented? Oh, yeah. You know, I used to joke about on Instagram, you know, these fake pages, they'll be like, join the Illuminati. And at one time I screenshot and posted it. I said, I must be doing something right. Because we're going to say the right. I said it. I'm sorry. Bleed it out. So going to lose no. I want to demonetize you. Right. So, and I screenshot and posted it one time. So I must be doing something right. They want me to join. Just jokingly, but I have been approached, but it's never that direct. The things, the God of this world is what the Bible says. Strategic. So it's never, here you go, drink a cup of blood and join our. It ain't never like that. It's always small little things. I was in this production. I'm not gonna say who because I don't want to put names out, but it was celebrities in it, and I got in it. It was real cool. I was in this production. for a whole week.
Mm.
Downtown Detroit. I'm gonna just say it like that.
Okay.
And they had afterwards, after the last show, come meet us at this place. We all gonna go there. Everybody was there. It was people there that weren't in the play, just a bunch of people. It's really crowded. And this particular celebrity had an assistant. And I'm walking. I'm not like I said, I'm not as outgoing like that. So I usually get in, get out. Like, Brandon T. Jackson said, Denzel told him, he said, leave 30 minutes before the devil show. I'm that guy. I'm leaving 30 minutes before the devil show. So I'm in and out. And this assistant was walking with with a celebrity who they were, take care of, came and grabbed at me in my back region. Oh, and I looked at her and she looked at me like lunch. And I was like, yeah, no, this ain't it. But it's always, and now to some people that may be, oh, she just made a pass. You okay? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was what I felt behind it. Mm-hmm. It was the spirit of what I felt behind it. And I was just like, oh no, this is 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 double showing like a 30 minutes. Let me get on out the way. But some people can't navigate that. Some people will take that in. Yes. And some people will do certain things with people to go to the next level. You get what I'm saying? And I'm taking the long way. I'm going to take the long way to keep my integrity.
Man, praise God. Thank God for that. This is so good. So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. You were on the show Empire. I want to talk about it because it was a big deal for all of us that know you. It was like, wow, oh my God, what? What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. That was my first time on something that national, mm-hmm. So when I got there, I sat at the table. Everybody was at the table except Taraji and Terrence Howard, but everybody else on the show was at this table read. Mm-hmm. But where you get the script and you all go over the scene and everything like that. And I remember having a plaque saying Marcus Woods playing Roland on this plaque sitting there. I said, oh, I'm recording this. Like, I said, I got to send this to I said, I had made it. Absolutely. Yeah, it was that. It was good. It was good to see. I even met Mario Van Peebles.
The son.
The father. He directs some of the episodes on it. So I got a chance to meet him. And it was a bunch of people there that we see on TV that I was able, that weren't even a part of the show. They was just there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. You know what I'm saying? And I remember getting the fit in. It was my first time getting the fit in on that level and having my own trailer and all. It was so fun. And I remember like the set was this huge like factory, but they had turned it into like each room into something different. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking like, oh, this is like playing. Like I get to play. This is, they paying me to do like, I was like, this is crazy. The food was good. It was just a really, really good experience. I remember when I auditioned for it, I was going back and forth to Chicago to audition. Auditioning for Chicago PD and all these other shows. And I was going back and forth. And I remember my agent called and said, you want to audition for Empire? I was like, yeah. I'm like, who don't want to audition for? I said, yeah. And so I went and auditioned. I was on my way to audition and it poured down rain like crazy. And I remember thinking, and when you had to park way away from where you had to go audition. You had to walk probably about a quarter mile to where you had to go. Wow. It was a nice little walk because they wanted to keep, they try to keep people away from the celebrities. And so I was like, man, I got to walk all the way over here and it's pouring. I mean, it was pouring down rain. I'm talking about it didn't matter if you had an umbrella. Wow. You was getting wet. And I was like, and so I just went out in it and I remember just rained on. And I remember thinking, I am completely wet. Finna walk into this audition. I'm like head to toe wet. And I said, what am I going to do? And, thank God for mamas. Yeah, because I called my mom. I said, Mom, I don't know. This ain't even worth it. I'm completely wet. She said, you there, ain't you? I said, yes, ma'am. Hang up the phone. I went in the bathroom, cut on the hand dryer. I was drying my clothes. I said, I'm going to go in here right. And that's why it's good to be before time. You know what I mean? And I went and I had that time to do everything. And I went in there and auditioned. And I remember the lady saying, she said, you ever been on Empire before? I said, no. She said, okay, you got to come back for the second audition. But she said, I'm pretty sure you're going to be on the show. And I was like, okay, I ain't never heard nothing like that before. Wow. Went, came back, auditioned again, and they booked me. They booked me for the show. I was so excited. I was so excited. It was a much needed win because that's when my dad had got diagnosed with cancer. And so, and it was stage 4. And we were in a tough place. It was like we were still in the pandemic and he was dealing with that. And so it was something to share with my family as a win. Like, look what God has done. Of course I did the work, but God, he put the seal on it. You know what I mean? Saying it is so. And it was such a big win, and our dad is cancer free now, thank God. You know what I mean? But it was just at that time, it was something that was needed, not just for me, just for my family.
And so with that, because that's good that you segue to that. And like I said, it was such a big deal for all of us, particularly for me. When I see people do what they are called to do or want to do, and so what kind of mindset did it give you to go to the next level, to get to the next level?
It told me that I belong. Like it showed me that, okay, you can do this. It was always those things leading to it, showing that I was good enough. 2010, I went to Cannes, France for the Cannes Film Festival. I met these young ladies. Wayne State does this big audition thing, right? Where the students got to film their film for their final exam.
Okay.
And so I met these two ladies. One was Erica, the other was Brittany. Erica, I did a short film with her. She said, we're submitting it to the short film corner in the Cannes Film Festival in France. Wow. And she said, I already go once a year. I was like, you go to France once a year? Like, what kind of money y'all got? kind of college kid are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? So she was like, yeah, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, And so I got my money together and everything, and I went. And we stayed there for 2 weeks, got to see movies that hadn't came out in the States yet. It was real interesting. Celebrities there. That kind of let me know, like, oh, okay, it made it tangible. Like I can do this. But Empire showed me that I belong. You know
that
what
was
I mean?
Tangible.
That was tangible because I'm there. I'm there with Gabourey Sidibe, who, played Becky on the show. She also played Precious and all this stuff. Right. I'm there, which she's an intelligent, not that she shouldn't be, but she's an intelligent woman. She's a very intelligent and talented woman. And it was just, I met Joy Brunson, the girl I played my cousin on the show as well. She was sisters to Gabby on that episode. She's brilliant. She's been on Snowfall, This Is Us. She's on all kinds of TV shows. And it was just to be there with them and talking with them. And it felt like I belong here. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Like you belong. You're supposed to be on this show. Wait.
And it was supposed to be a spinoff. My agent had called and said they might do a spinoff of Empire and they want to bring a character back. I guess it just fell through. But that's the business. And things happening. And God is still doing, some amazing things in my career.
Wow.
Still.
So what's next on the horizon? I know you got the movie coming out.
I got a few movies coming. I named some of them. I just did a movie called Blind Trust. They had a premiere for it 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And I lead in that film. It's a really good movie about a scientist who's trying to reverse aging because his mother is dealing with some stuff and he don't want to lose his mom like he lost his dad. So he's trying to reverse aging, but that makes him go blind. And so he has to deal with going blind and all these things like that. Blind Trust is coming out. I have a play in June 21st. It's called Call Me Daddy. That's the name of it. Really good play. So the tickets are actually on sale now. So
it here?
It's here. Okay. That's here. It's at the Northwest Activity Center. Okay. So that's going to be a good play for people to come and check out.
Yes.
What else do I have? I have a movie called The Rose, where I actually play a villain. It's I got to see some of the footage a couple of days ago. We filmed it about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
And I was out. We filmed in Ohio. I was going to Ohio for about a month and a half or so. And we filmed it. I got a chance to work with the sound guy who won an Oscar. It was good to talk to an Oscar winner. Stuff like that. Be like, I belong here. The DP guy, he was, which is director of photography. He worked on Avengers. And so it was like, I'm in that caliber of people now. And that felt good. It feels good. But that's coming out really soon. Just a bunch. Just so many things I've done. A movie called Missing. That's coming out this summer. I play a dad. My daughter goes missing, and we're trying to find my daughter. It's a bunch of them.
So with the villain role, did you have to dig? I'm sure you had to dig deep to be a villain.
You know what it felt like. It felt like when you play cops and robbers with your brother. One of you is a cop, the other one is a robber. You don't get to play the cop all the time, so you got to be the robber. So I'm just playing a robber, just on a grander scale. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. I didn't really have to dig deep. Because everybody was so brilliant at what they did, I just came in as the villain. And when you play the villain, or any role for that matter, you can't judge him. The villain don't think he's a villain. He think he's doing the right thing for him. You know what I'm saying? So I always just try to find, okay, where do we connect? Obviously, he's a murderer, but in the movie, in the roles where they play the villain, but I'm not a murderer, so where do we connect? We both want to make it in life. You get what I'm saying? So what is his making it look like? What is my making it look like? How can I find the middle? You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
Okay, I don't want to know the end. I don't know if okay. So we got Monologue Mondays, but I really want you to speak to my audience. It has been like the world to me to have you here. And I want you to speak to the audience. Those that may be thinking about going into acting, you know, give them a little bit of advice.
Take acting classes. I know people frown upon them and they're like, oh, I got to find an acting class. I took acting classes. I heard Anthony Mackie say this, the guy who plays Captain America now. He said so many people are not going to last because they don't know how to be versatile. He said the only way you're going to know that is you got to take classes. He said he put in 10,500 hours worth of classes through his life. You know what I'm saying? So for us to see him as Captain America now. So that means take classes and just always want to grow and learn. And don't be afraid. Learn as you go. You'll perfect it later. Learn as you, so just go and just do it. Go to that acting class. Go to that audition. Reach out to people and ask questions. I ask questions in a minute. People turn me down some. Get out of here, kid. But just ask questions and just keep going. Like one of my slogans is keep going. You bump your head, keep going. Because you're gonna at some point you're gonna figure something out and it's gonna make sense. So just keep going.
Wow, that's such great advice. Thank you so much. Our listeners I know that I'm inspired, so I know that they're inspired. Ooh. Monologue Mondays, Instagram Live.
Yep, Instagram Live. I am Marcus Woods on Instagram, 6 p.m. I'm on time for the most part, and I'm in there, and I'm out of it for the most part. You know, this profession make you not want to be late for nothing,
right?
Because even when I got here today, you said you got here on time. I said no, I can't get here at 7 and then be on at 7. But I was late. I get that. That's true. But my profession makes me not late, even like for church and stuff. I'm like, hey, y'all get on time. Why ain't nobody on time? I might be a little too punctual, but. Monologue Monday, 6 p.m. I am Marcus Woods, and I do post them on Facebook too, as well, which is just Marcus Woods on Facebook.
Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Giving Them Something to Talk About podcast. My guest, Marcus Woods, we're so grateful to have him here. We will talk to you all soon. See you later.